Hi guys, Piotr here. This is Liteforex Global YouTube channel. As you can see behind me, the weather is not that great. Some kind of the restrictions, and looks like no party on the sun for me over the weekend. But to be honest with you, we are here not to discussing the party, but discussing outlook for the upcoming week when it comes to the euro dollar, gold and oil. Let's start with the euro dollar, and if you do remember, previous week we've seen attempt to go higher, then the story with the US yields, then rejection, the price went lower, testing some significant support and bouncing towards the end of the week. Very similar situation when it comes to gold. Meaning that the Pfizer story rally behind the gold higher levels at the very beginning of the week. Then huge rejection, and again story related to the US yields, huge downside, but without the continuation. So in both cases, euro dollar and gold, we've seen the rejection at the higher levels, but we've seen the creation of the lower shadow. A little bit different story when it comes to the oil. Oil was above the weekly open, but this upper shadow and the close, weekly close, I wouldn't say might encourage buyers towards the next week. So with that being said, without the further delay, let's jump straight and check what we have when it comes to the charts. Okay, weekly euro dollar, and from the seller's perspective, we have to either hold what we've seen 2 weeks ago and previous week open, right? But the latest line in the sand, or the zone in the sand, is between 1960, 20, 10, let's say that way. On the other hand, the buyers should hold levels close to, very close to what we've seen 2 weeks ago. In that case, we are talking about the levels close to 116.30, 116. Now, taking into the consideration the combination of the last 2 weeks, right? We have nice outside week retest. Last week it was the 50% retest of that range we've seen 2 weeks ago, and that could produce the rally. If we are going to see the breakthrough 1960-20, we might see the rally towards 21.50. On the other hand, if we are going to hold these highs, right, retest of the levels close to 116.30, 116 could be in place, and if we are going to break to the downside, we might finally see 115 and 114.50. So in that case, when it comes to the euro dollar weekly chart, breakthrough 1960, 120 will open 21.50, maybe even 22.50 to the downside. Breakthrough 116 will expose 115, 114.50. So for now, trading inside the range, and watch out for the breakout when it comes to the weekly chart. On the other hand, daily chart on the euro dollar, as you can see, there are some levels, we already put them here. There was a strong downside move when it comes to the Monday. There is a possibility of from the intraday perspective of some over under trading around 119, right? On the other hand, that's the possible demand zone from the daily chart perspective, around as I mentioned, to the downside 1630 and 1650. So overall I would say euro dollar inside the range 1960, 1630, 16 level, and upside might see 121.50, 22.50, downside 115, 14.50. Now let's have a look what we have when it comes to the oil. Strong attempt to move higher and huge rejection, and the first thing, long upper shadow. The second thing, the weekly close below the top of the previous range. So what we've seen 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, it was attempt to break to the downside. Last week we've seen attempt to go higher with the stop count. I see when it comes to the oil, as long as we are on the weekly chart getting close below the high of the last week, I see lower levels to come when it comes to the oil. Going lower, going to the daily chart. If you do remember, I've been thinking that we might see something like this, right? Instead, we've seen a little bit different story, all right? We've seen this type, this type of the action, and this type 1-to-1 with the nice stop count. What we have on a daily, we have nice swing high, right? The thing is that would be good to get the daily close below what we've seen on Monday, right? Would be great to get the close on a daily chart below 40. So what I'm gonna to look for, I'm looking for the breakdown, right? Then some kind of the rally and retest the price action around the Thursday low, and then continuation to the downside, and looking for 37 and retest of 35, 34, 50. So as long as below 31.60, 32.40 on a daily, and below previous week high, looking for a daily close below 40, attempt to rally, retest, and rejection. That's how I see the oil for the upcoming week. The last one is gold. Weekly chart. Well, if we are agree that that's the range, right? So we've seen attempt 2 weeks ago to take out the range to the upside with the huge rejection. But last week at the same time, we retest the bottom of that consolidation, all right? So in that case, from the bull's perspective, as long as we are above previous week high, it could be some kind of the attempt to go higher, right? But I do expect sellers still around 1950, all right? We have a range 1850, 1950. If we are going to break through to the upside, then I do expect 2050 to be tested, right? So this high over here, that could be the case. On the other hand, the sellers are looking to fade any kind of the rally towards 1950. Why? Look what we have seen here. Next week it was the rally. I do expect the rally towards 1950, and then just lower. I do expect lower. So if the range is 1950, 1850, all right, break to the downside, expose 1750. That's what we are waiting for. So ranges. Be careful out there for now. Buying low, selling high, and eventually after the range break, trying to join the party. With that being said, guys, don't be trapped. Be safe. See you around. Take care and goodbye.